Danagelis. Up top, Kotler. Now Tevlin. Tevlin gets the pick from Gaudette. Kotler from the wing. Switching hands. That one hits the pipe. Bounces back into the restraining area. Danagelis able to vacuum. Pelton knocked it loose. And Tevlin emerges with the ball out of the scramble.
That's the muscle. You see the hit? Pelton did a great job, 19 in blue, getting that ball on the carpet and looked like he was going to get out of dodge with the ball in his cross. Not so fast. This Yale team spends more time in the weight room than any team in the country. Their focus on strength and nutrition is without peer.
And they tailor those workouts individually to each player. Here comes Ty. Didn't get a chance. Van Raphorst got his stick on it. Another ground ball, and Yale has it again. Gaudette.
Anish, you mentioned they tailor all these workouts. These guys in the offseason have to take pictures of every single meal they have. They log all their workouts. Remember, Jackson Morrill told us heading into his freshman year, he took a couple pictures of things he thought were healthy to eat, and his response from some of the seniors, we don't eat like that.
Take it down off the site.
Gaudette couldn't handle the pass. And we get a timeout from Yale.
It's a good look at Andy Shea. Wanted the psychology major at Lemoyne. Wanted to become a lawyer, Anish. Ended up head coach of Morrisville Junior College, where he recruited a guy by the name of John Grant Jr.
Pretty good.
And then followed John Grant Jr. to Delaware and then UMass, crediting Bob Schillinglaw and Greg Cannella for his development.
Andy Shea also told me when I spent some time with him this season, when I asked him, who were your role models in coaching? Without question, right away, he said his father. His father passed a couple of years ago, but he was so instrumental in terms of the way that he coached. He was a basketball coach growing up, never coached lacrosse, didn't know much about it, but his command with his team and his ability to really translate the X's and O's and get the most out of each and every one of his players is what really resonated with him. When he was a kid, he wanted to be a coach just like his dad.
One of 7 children. He said the difference for this program was when they started focusing on themselves, and that all started again back in 2010. The DNA of Yale lacrosse really changed. The NBA Finals start Thursday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC. It'll be LeBron and the Cavs against the winner of Houston and Golden State. LeBron in his 8th straight NBA Finals. And there is the LeBron of lacrosse, Paul Rabel. You rarely see him on camera.
You see Yale's toughness in terms of effort. They dive for shots. They're willing to block shots. They love the confrontations and the fury of the ground ball battle. And this has been a process that's taken about a decade to build. Attention to detail. When you go to one of the practices, there's a lot of time spent on the individual, improving the individual skills.
And 2 guys that improved by going head-to-head against each other, Ben Reeves and Chris Fake. Here's Sessa. Sessa squeezes inside, and it's 6-4 Yale.
The junior is only 5'5", but that's why he's a matchup problem for this Duke defense. Look at his change of direction and his ability to get underneath these defenders and then pay the price. You talk about courage. Watch what he deals with here after he releases this ball. I'm taking this ball to the heart of the defense. I'm getting buried, but turn and rake.
Water bug, and he's absolutely jacked too. A weight room warrior. A guy who actually uses his size to an advantage. You see the approach of the defenders. It's awkward when you have to get low against a guy like Joey Sessa, and his strength in his lower body gives him the ability to never be pushed around.
Mackey wins the face-off for Yale. Now Reeves against JT Giles Harris. Reeves held to just 1 assist in this first half. Had 9 points, 5 and 4 in the semifinal win against Albany.
Mackey becomes an insurance policy of sorts, winning 63% of his faceoffs this year. I think Connor Mackey's the 3rd best Fogo in the country. Prevents opponents from going on runs.
Danagelis. Now Ty, thought about it.
Woo!
Van Raphorst helicopters the stick out of Ty's hands. And the first team All-American emerges with the ground ball.
He left it hanging.
Final minutes of this first half, Yale with a 2-goal lead. Duke has never led.
U-View change of direction. Many times the offensive player will leave it hanging. Boom! Yard sale here in Foxborough.
Timeout, John Danowski, 33.9 seconds to go in this opening half. Coming up on the halftime report, we will break down the first half, reflect on our favorite moments of the 2018 season, and you saw Paul Rabel a few moments ago. You'll see Paul Rabel at halftime too. He and the TLN guys did a little something special for us. That's all coming up at the break. 6-4, Yale in search of its first NCAA lacrosse championship. In the pre-NCAA era, Yale was awarded a share of a championship in 1883, along with Ivy League cohorts Princeton and Harvard. And for Duke, a win today, and the Blue Devils would have their 4th championship all in this decade. And they would define this era the same way that Syracuse defined the last decade, and the way Princeton defined the 90s, and Quint, your Hopkins teams, the way they defined the 80s.
It's a high standard. I think this Yale team is built to stick around. Now, Ben Reeves is their superstar player. He's a senior, but everything that Andy Shea has done is for long-term sustainable success.
Kark?
Just in the Duke huddle with offensive coordinator Matt Danowski. The game plan's pretty simple. They know this Yale defense is airtight and so hard to generate offense against. So the matchups have to come from the midfield. So Brad Smith's inside right now. He's about to pop outside. It's Connolly and Smith, 66 and 27.
And they play catch to start. 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Oh, you got a zone out of Yale here now on defense. You got a straight 3-3 zone.
Here's Conley, best outside shooter for Duke. Now Walsh. Walsh plays it back to Conley. Gutterding, only 1 shot this half. Skip pass, Conley moves it around, and a shot wide by Robertson. 4.3 seconds to go.
Back to man-to-man for Yale.
Manown will initiate. 4 seconds. Manown feeding inside. It's knocked loose. And the first half comes to an end.
Bulldogs and defensive coordinator Andrew Baxter win that round. Terrific job of mixing and matching your defenses.
Down to Kark with Andy Shea.
Coach, Justin Gutterding, nation's leading scorer today in the first half, 0 goals. How has your defense shut him down?
Well, it's a team defense. I mean, it's just, it's 7 guys. We're not concentrating on just one guy. It's just they're all playing well, they're getting on hands, and we're getting some good saves.
Your offense led by Ben Reeves. It looks like the Duke defense really focusing on that unit. What do you need from your midfield?
When they press out on us, we got to run by them, and then we did in the last one. So, really, that's as simple as that. If they're going to play bully, we got to run by them.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Andy Shea's Bulldogs 30 minutes away from their first NCAA championship. We're back with halftime. It's Yale leading Duke 6-4 in the 2018 NCAA Championship. Championship game between Yale and Duke. It marks the end of this 2018 college lacrosse season, and it's a chance for us to look back at this NCAA tournament. Quint, what will you remember this tournament for?
2018 defined by fresh faces and programs who have experienced a breakthrough. Congratulations to Robert Morris winning the play-in game and then putting the Maryland Terrapins on the ropes. There's Kevin Warren, the Georgetown Hoyas, back in the big dance with a great defense. They took Hopkins into overtime in round one. Scotty Marr and the Dane Train, Albany, rolling into championship weekend at Gillette Stadium. Fan favorites because of their style, their offensive flavor. And then there's the Yale Bulldogs. They won a national title back in 1883. This team is big, strong, tough, and rough, and they'll be around for a while.
For me, it was the year of the attack, and the goal scorers reigned supreme. Tewaaraton front runner, Yale's Ben Reeves. He's a genius in the classroom, equally as good on the field. Pat Spencer from Loyola, a point guard who can create his own offense. Connor Kelly, that's the best shooting attackman in college lacrosse, leaves the Terps as a legend. Justin Gutterding, determination. Division I all-time leading goal scorer, and then Connor Fields, the heart of a Lion. The last 2 months played on one leg with the right knee injury. His magical hands brought the Great Danes to championship weekend.
This NCAA tournament will be remembered for Clash of the Titans. Trevor Baptiste against T.D. Erlin. An overhyped face-off battle that not only delivered but exceeded expectations. The greatest face-off man of all time in Baptiste against Erlin, who's having the greatest season for any face-off man. 30 draws they took. Each won 15. Albany prevailed in the end. This wasn't campy. It wasn't a bad remake. To me, this tournament's going to be remembered for two things. Who won? And Baptiste against Erlin.
I thought that battle elevated that entire position for young players around the country to see that not only were they Fogos, they were great lacrosse players.
For me, there was a one-on-one battle as a child. It was Dave Petramala of Johns Hopkins in '89 against Gary Gate. I think there were kids in the stands 20 years from now. That will be the battle they remember.
The other thing people will remember, Quint stepping up his fashion for championship weekend. Got a little flower mound there. We're back with the second half of this championship game between Yale and Duke. Quint looking dapper, isn't he? Halftime stats brought to you by Old Spice. Yale +8 on ground balls. Shots in favor of the Bulldogs as well. Both goalies have played well.
Yeah. Duke opened up shooting 1 of 11. It's been better since. Jack Starr's only got 4 stops. 2 were monumental.
Opening face-off of this third quarter. Duke had it for a moment. And it's out of bounds, and let's check in quickly with Paul.
Just spoke to Matt Danowski, offensive coordinator for Duke. He wants his unit to play faster, strike in transition, and I asked him about the Justin Gutterding-Chris Fake matchup, which is won by Fake in the first half. He said, we're going to go after Fake more in the first half with Gutterding, so expect the senior, 14 in blue, last half of his career, leave it all out there and attack the freshman Fake. Will he prevail? Well, not many have against this kid.
I like this adjustment we're seeing right here with Reeves in front of the goal.
Ben Reeves 0 for 5 shooting in that first half, the two-time Ivy League Player of the Year. Here's Dan Angelis. Stars have been quiet. Reeves and Gutterding, just 2 combined points, each with an assist.
They'd also like to see Reeves run off some picks, maybe change the matchup.
Now Reeves catches on the wing, flips it to Morrill. Morrill against McDonough. Back up top to Reeves. Against JT Giles Harris. Reeves with the bouncer, and he's on the board with his first goal.
Hey, Quinn, you called it. Little change of pace with Ben Reeves, who's so accustomed from attacking from behind. Well, take the defender, JT Giles-Harris, out of his comfort zone. He's used to defending attackmen behind the cage, and then with Reeves around goal line extended with that lightning speed. So now Reeves takes him up top, and he's in no man's land. He's not accustomed to being up there against a guy like Reeves. And when you watch the scout report and you throw on the tape against Reeves, that's not where he typically dodges from.
Acceleration and uncommon straight line speed.
A molecular, cellular, and developmental biology major. He told us when he first got to Yale, the academic rigors intimidated him. Got a 41 on a chemistry test as a freshman. Maybe the best student athlete in all of college athletics with what he's done on the field and in the classroom. A 3.9 GPA, wants to be a doctor, wants to go to med school. The senior captain with a chance to lead Yale to a championship, and then post-grad wants to cure cancer.
He's challenged himself on and off the field many times. The thing that suffers is sleep.
Peter Conley's shot saved by Starr, his 5th.
Terrific rebound control by Keating. 11 in White's a vacuum cleaner around the crease.
Tyler Warner 5 in White. Also